All right, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the dinner table. It's been a while since we've been together. The reason why we couldn't get together, I don't know if we want to spread the love, but uh, one of our table members was getting married, Mr. Tingman. Uh, how does it feel, brother?
Um,
Go ahead.
it feels very, very amazing, exciting. It's also a little nervousness because this is my first time and my last time being married, so it's a new journey. So it's nervousness, but I'm very excited.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And it's crazy, you know, we just coming off your wedding, and tonight's show is about family values. So I think it's good. I think it's good. You know, the family definitely was excited. It was an exciting moment, exciting times. Everybody enjoyed themselves. Was laughter in the air. So I don't see nothing wrong with anything today. You know, it was a good time. It was a damn good time. Josh, did you enjoy yourself?
Absolutely.
You enjoyed
Yeah,
it?
it was
As
a
I
good
seen
night.
him dancing on the floor and all, he was
Yeah,
going down, coming up. Yeah, it was a good night,
it
man.
was a good night.
It was a good night,
Really
man.
fun. The food was good.
The food was, yeah, the
Yeah.
food was excellent.
The only
Shout
thing
out
was,
to moms for cooking the food.
the only thing was, we was eating. The chicken was kind of cold, but
The chicken was cold.
yeah,
Yeah, they didn't have nothing really that you could really heat it up on if the burners ran out.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was, man,
yeah. No, the food was hella
it
good.
was it was an amazing night. It was an amazing night. And what's his name? The singer,
Oh, Blair.
Mr. Blair. Shout out to you, Mr. Blair, for his contribution in his endeavors. That was a hell of a song he sang to. That really rocked the crowd, you know. Even Uncle Richie was sharp last night. Uncle Richie was sharp. Uncle Richie, Uncle Richie was sharp. But it was a good night, and that's a good thing. It brings us into the conclusion of tonight's show of family values. You think right now with society, you think we lost our family values?
I'll say yes and not at the same time because it depends who's your family and
Mm,
who you put yourself around.
right.
Mm,
Can friends be family?
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
Some of us are living examples of like me, like before Josh and Shaw,
Hmm.
they were my friends. And then we did a lot of crazy stuff together. We rode a lot of tide waves, and from that point on, we just built our bond throughout the year, and now we're brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
The funny thing is about that, you see us now. We're cool. It's pretty much like Sha said. We had bad blood,
Yeah,
like
really bad.
very
before.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I sit here. I'm able to call you my brother.
Now we're really close.
Is that the importance of family value?
To me,
To love no matter what?
definitely, because
Mhm.
like I said, besides us having bad blood before, and but now we overcame that.
Right.
It was a lot of things, I could say, financially, you know, any type of situations that came to any one of us, rather than, us three men, we always, the other two, will always sit there and back the other brother up. And,
Right.
you know, listen, we go and figure something out. We brainstorm together. We come to a conclusion. We execute what our plan is. And sometimes it must be the craziest situation ever, but we never let the other person down. We never walked out on the other person. We stood by each other's side.
Yeah.
You think that a lot of family values are gone now? Like and I know I asked the first time, but what I mean by that is, you know, right now we going through a lot of turmoil, man. There's a lot of turmoil going on. You got a lot of people who are not relying on each other.
I think
Pushing is becoming a shoving. Hey, what you think?
I think certain family members forget what family value is. Like sometimes they think that that means okay, if I need something, I call you. Like you gotta be there. Like sometimes you understand that when I don't have a dollar in my pocket and I'm at my lowest, like I should be able to lean on you, or vice versa. If you go to something, a crisis situation, you should really lean on me.
Right.
Like I don't care if we argue today and we said the most hateful words to each other. Like at the end of the day, we're still family. We should always sit there and ride the wave out and stick by each other's side.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, sorry,
No, go,
but
go.
I feel like some family values are going down because of the trust within the family.
Hmm.
Because this is just me. Because me and my dad, I don't like him at all. Like, he did some stuff. So it's like I got my reason to stay away from him. When it comes to other families, it's just like I trust them. Like my aunt, I trust him. And my current aunt, who's pregnant, her boyfriend, I don't even call him her boyfriend. I call him my uncle. It's the same as a family. I trust him.
Right.
I trust him with my aunt, and I trust my aunt as well. So that's what I think. Like the trust plays a big value into that.
I think, excuse me. I think trust plays more than just within the family values. When we was coming up, we was having that conversation, and I was explaining to him about it's not what it takes to be married. Let's skip the married part. This is not about marriage. It's about a man and knowing what he wants out of his woman and what his woman expects out of him. Did you hear what I said? Because it's two different things. Because a man doesn't expect much for his woman. It's what he would want her to do, to be a certain way. But a woman expects a lot out of her man. She expects him to do certain things warranted because he's a man. This is why I explained to him that you're not together just for love. Love is a big part of it. It's not the feeling that a person gives you. When you are with somebody who you deeply care about, and you feel that you are ready to reach the end of time with them and take that extra mile, that's a big step, because now every step you take doesn't just include yourself.
Yeah.
The weight on your shoulders, and I mean, I'm proud because he put that weight on his shoulder. Not most men his age will want to put that weight on his shoulder. I mean, it's a direction, it's an old-fashioned way. Most people put the cart before the horse. He got his horse in position ready to pull his cart. No, most people didn't, because damn sure I didn't put my horse before my cart. So you understand, and it was I just saw something different that night. That night I saw more than just two people being married. I saw a commitment that most people can't commit at that age. Like, they're young.
Yeah, I was going to mention getting married that young. That's...
But they're a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
See how many people turned out? How many people were overjoyed? And most people, you don't get that with a young marriage. It's always, are you sure? You sure you're doing the right thing? Are you pastors and priests, everybody, like, you can't be that young and be in love. That's a thing that's not normal within our communities.
Yeah. Which is crazy because I done seen people who got married at the age of 18 and their life is really good. Like, one of them, he's in the service, and his wife, she started doing programming for firefighting.
Amen.
So it's like they have their life, situated and planned out. And I was really proud of them because we had met through a different program, and we're called the power couples. So it was unique to see them do like their own thing, but then they recently about to move into their own place. So it was like, yeah, young, but it's like not a lot of people older are willing to make the commitment to even sign the paper to say, listen, I want you to have my last name. I want to be a part of my life. I want to do the stepping stones with you. And it's like for these teenagers to be really young and like have that commitment in them and carry on an adult role as in like getting their own, make sure they're committed to each other, is like that's really rare. So I believe like it don't matter, if you're 18, 19, like you get married as long as you know you're committed.
Were you afraid though? Like, were you afraid? Not afraid of marriage, like more like were you afraid of coming home and have to explain that to us about, I'm ready to this is what I want to do.
No, I was never really nervous or scared because
don't lie.
like to tell my parents that, hey, I want to get married. No, because they already had like that, and like way before that, they already built that bond with her, where it's like, oh, like it's to the point where they said ask me every day, she coming over today? Where's she at? And it's like, all right.
That is true.
So,
That
you
is
know,
true. That's true.
they already had built that bond. So it's not like I just married her. Hey, look, we're gonna get married right now. Like, no, I allowed them to meet and greet and build that bond. So now it wasn't really rare. And then like on top of that, for me, besides them, it did make me a little nervous because like I said, it's my first time doing this, and none of that is like, it's a lot of steps and commitments. Like you said before, like you're not thinking for yourself, like you're thinking for the both of you guys. It's like you don't want to make that wrong mistake because then it could jeopardize you and her. So I was nervous on that part, but other than that, I'm really excited. Like, it's a lovely journey for myself and for the family.
I think so too. I think this, if there was any negativity about the wedding, I didn't hear it or I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Other than your mother being nervous. Yeah,
No,
she was extremely. No, but it's this. She was nervous. Her baby was getting married. Her last to the first to the last. He was getting married, and I understood. I had my moments. I cried. But I had to also. You got to calm her down. And one thing I realized about mothers have a tendency to want to take charge, and because it's like, if you look bad, then I'm going to look bad. And I'm telling her that's not the case for the wedding. You can't, see, love will never make you look bad. Love can never make you look bad. The only thing that can make you look bad is if you're not committed. And you saw the commitment. It's there. It was a beautiful night. To me, age didn't even matter that night. Age didn't matter. I think if the world can experience love from a better point of view, everybody would be different. I think a lot as men, we're afraid. We're afraid, to love or commit ourselves to someone or some person or a couple of people of that matter of whatever we choose. And I think we're afraid of that because we're afraid that it's going to hurt. But ass whoopings hurt. No, I'm just saying, in this, we're going through a time right now where, and I know you just guys heard that the president, he's not running for another term. So we're basically stuck in a world with people like Trump. And I'm not saying that whether Trump is a good person or whether he's a bad person, it's not about the judgment. But the fate of having somebody's future in your hand when you're not even ready for the hand that gave you the future. It's almost like a catch-22. So by him getting married, that kind of let everybody understand, like, back in the days, they were married young too.
No.
They were married young too back in the day. So they always say history repeats itself. We had a generation when you have men running around here having 8, 9 children, but not committed to anyone. So now that you have a young man who has no children, they're both into the military base form of their life, and they decided to get married and share.
And
So
then,
it's a
like the best part, like since this talk about family value, it's like what showed me about my wedding day is that every big family has their ups and downs, and some of my aunts and uncles were going through a little trial and error around the time of my wedding, but they still showed up and showed out, and it's like that's the beauty of it. Like you could put your differences aside just for that one day to embrace and celebrate the person that you say you love. So like that's like the best feeling in the world. Like so, back to family values. Like it shows that they had the value to sit there and put their differences aside just for a day, and that meant a lot. Even like some of my friends who didn't even get along,
they got along
that night. Like they even
That's
sat
right.
at the same table. And it was like, yo,
yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Well, like I always said, when God gives the gift of love, you got to expect anything. That the weak will be strong and the strong will become weak. Love is that emotional. I know I keep using the word love, but you have to understand that was a magical night. It made me look at your mother different. To knowing that, now I have a purpose. Being with her in 14 years, now I actually had to say to myself, well, what's taking you so long? You have somebody who's committed to you for 14 years. Why haven't you put a ring? I'm already committed to her. Or we wouldn't be together for 14 years, you know? It's already commitment. So why not solidify by giving her my last name? And I can't even tell you why. But I realized what it looks like. I had a glimpse of it, man. Watching your wedding, I had a glimpse of it. And it was a beautiful thing. And I wish I could be able to walk all my daughters down the aisle that way, you know? That's something. And that's another thing I want to talk about, too. I hope I don't embarrass her, but I was surprised about that. And this is why you have shows like Family Value, why you talk about it. I was surprised about it. I was surprised that she asked me. I wasn't sure if I was worthy to do it, but I did it. I was nervous. We were both nervous. Before we walked out, we were nervous to the point where we had to pray. So, like, let's pray. She was nervous.
She was.
You know?
Even, like, when we was in the room and we were sitting talking, and she was like, I want Dad to walk me down the aisle. She was like, but I don't know how to ask him. I said, just go in the room and ask him. And she was like, you just can't say it like that. Like, you have to say it a certain way. I was like, how do you ask somebody, hey, I want you to walk me down the aisle? So she was like, I got it myself. So then I was like, how about we do it together? And she was like, yeah, but I want to talk. And I was like, all right. But then the bottom line is we asked. He said yes. And then she went in the room. She was excited. Then she started crying. And then it was like, for that, when she sat there and finished, crying a little bit, she had told me, she was like, I'm so happy he's able to walk me down the aisle. And for him to sit here and take care of kids that's not even his and treat them like it's his, she was like, this is why he's my dad now. And I love him forever. And after that, I was like, oh, she had me cry a little bit. And I was like, oh. And then, from there, it was like, she always said, I want Dad to walk me down the aisle. I want Dad to walk me out. I was like, all right. So when the day came, like I said, they was praying and stuff like that. So I was like, wow.
I mean, man, I can't even describe the moment for every father who has that ability to walk their child or a loved one down the aisle. And, I know God's going to give you many more chances to do it, but the first time it being done and what's going to actually be more is that I understand now the significance behind the walk. Before I just thought it had to be between a daughter and their father. That's not necessarily true. It has to be someone that you love and respect as a father to say, hey, I would like for you to give my hand away in marriage. To me, that was a big deal. Like, I'm already a sentimental guy. So, she asked me, I let her close the door and I broke down myself, And my woman was like, babe, you okay? No, I'm not okay. How are you okay about a child that you didn't raise, a child that you met, someone you had spent time with? And this goes for all you guys. Josh, Shy, Annabelle, I see you three all the time. And Francis, I see you guys all the time. You guys know when I got an attitude, y'all just be like, hey, and keep it moving. You're like, I'm human. I'm not. Some days I'm grumpy. Some days I'm in so much pain that, I can't speak. I don't want to speak. But you guys always greet me with respect. And this is why the other day, right before the wedding, I walked up to Shy and I said, Shy, I had to apologize to you. He was like, for what? He didn't even know what was going on. I said, yeah, I kind of got out of hand about having people being crowded in my truck and things like that. You're angry, it's hot, you're coming through the sun. And he looked at me, and he said, what are you worried about? I wasn't worried about that. But it just goes to show you when you spend a lot of time. So I don't think that the wedding was just about you and Francis. I'm just saying, not to put a name out there. I think it was about all of us.
Yeah.
I think it was a moment for that household, that moment. That was our moment.
Mm-hmm. It's about coming as one as a family
Yeah.
and enjoying our night.
That was our moment. Regardless of who showed up or showed out, that was our moment. We all got dressed. We all put on our shoes, our ties, and you got the old man in the tie, so you already know. Even though that shirt was tight as hell, but that was our night.
He had texted me at 3 in the morning. Today's the day. And I was like, today's the day.
Yeah, I even took off from work. I didn't want to. I didn't want to miss the moments leading up to that because I knew it was his day. I knew, and it just turned out, yeah, man, that was a moment for the house. I mean, we're going to have more.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to have more. But that was a moment. And it all, you can reflect now all up to the night of when he proposed and got engaged, and the house was crowded for that. Like,
Yeah.
that house has been a unity for a lot of people, man. So, yeah, I could see it. I could see it. I could see the tears flowing and everybody being in it occasionally. It was our night.
I like how you was trying to like keep that while you was talking, giving your vows, and you
Nah,
started.
yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, your vows are beautiful too. Yeah, it was.
I
Very nice.
try, like, I don't know, for me, like, when it comes to her, one thing is, like, I'm never scared to cry in front of her. Never.
Amen.
But it's like, when you try to at least have that one moment you go hold yourself, at least try. Not because you're embarrassed or anything like that. Why I try to hold myself is because I got the thing where when I talk and I cry, I'm like, so like, I was trying to stutter or anything, but, the whole point of the vows were to sit here and make her understand that, this is what I want. And then, like, back to the engagement party, and it's just, again, tonight's topic about family vows is, like, again, people who don't get along with each other still showed up, and it was still a big bash, and, like I said, the funny thing is she thought she was decorating for a Christmas party. It was her engagement party.
Right.
So it's like, to have family come and even help you out and offer to help, even when they don't got it, that shows enough. Like, that's value right there. Like, no matter what, we all gonna come together and pitch in what we can to make this happen, and that's the best thing anybody can ever have.
Moments. It's moments like that that are far and they're rare. You don't get moments like that. And they're not made for everybody. So I always say, Mom, you can always say, your mom's a little upset at certain people, but I said if they weren't there, they weren't meant to be there. You can't hold a head on who made it and who didn't make it. It was a night to rejoice. And you can still rejoice by seeing the pictures.
Yeah.
It's moments. We're going to have so much more. And I'm not going to lie, I was ready to move. I was ready to go. I was ready to say, Miles will leave it to him and her, let them stay. And I wasn't talking about you and France, I was talking about you and your sister. Let them have it and let's go do it. And she said, nah, she talked me out of it. She said, nah, I'm not ready to go. This house has a special understanding to it. And at first I couldn't figure out nothing. Like, man, why would you want to stay here? We could move something. We could be somewhere better. I get it now. Because you have to look, that night, I'm telling you, that night, you see the faces? No arguing, no fighting, no pushing, no shoving. Drinks were beautiful. Everything was flowing. Everybody. It was just everybody. And when he got up and he sang, that shut the curtain down on the whole wedding right there.
My man Blair.
I think I got the video.
My man Blair.
He shut it down. That solidified the love in the air because it was like it's normal, and he's right. People who normally don't talk, they were talking that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the video.
Yep.
So it's just one of them things where you just, when God gives a gift, He gives it in a big way, and sometimes you got to open up big rivers. But we're going to have more of those.
Yeah. As I say, like you said about the house, like, that house also stands for family value. Because what I noticed, and I just don't say it a lot, anytime anyone has a problem or there's anything going home with us household-wise or job-wise, like, I noticed everybody runs to my house first.
Yeah.
Nobody runs to my uncle's houses or my dad's house.
You're right
First
about
thing they
that.
do is call her. And yeah, sometimes my mom can be snappy, stuff like that, but when things hit the fan, they call her. Hey, listen, Auntie, Mama, I need X, Y, and Z. I need to come, da-da-da. Or listen, Mama, hey, sis, or, whatever they acknowledge her as. But they always knock on the door. And for, like, our household is a lot of miracles. Like, that's, like, everybody's safe havens. When things not going well, they run there. They seek answers in the house. So it's like,
Definitely comfort.
I'm not trying to sound like, a wise man, like, but it's true. Like, if you live with us or you come to our house often, you'll see that that's everybody's go-to spot.
Everybody's go through spot.
And it's
And like I said, when I first got, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You can finish.
No, you go ahead, man.
All right.
It's open
And
floor.
it's like, for me, because like I brought up, we had really bad blood. So every time like I come to your house, it's like I feel like I'm at home. I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable with him, with you guys, and I thank you guys for accepting me. Someone
Well,
y'all never.
it's you too.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be accepted if it's not on you. It's what you give off too. It's not just our aura. It's your aura as you walk into our home. You know, and that's one thing my woman has always said. You know, don't turn anybody away until they deserve to be turned away. She's always said that. She opens her door like shocked me a little bit. Like, damn.
To anybody.
To the point we can't even put a top lock on the door, you know. But no, I wouldn't have it any other way. I probably wouldn't have all this if it wasn't, you know, for that household. You know, and she does a damn good job of running it. And yeah, you feel at home, man, because it took me a long time to get some sleep in there because I felt like, you know, I also, when I first got there, I'm probably the first man who lived longevity. So it was like I felt out of place. One day we had a conversation and I never felt like that again. I was able to be myself. If you got to scream, you got to scream. If you got to yell, you got to yell. You got to do what you got to do. And we end up having two of our own, and it's been a blessing ever since. And she has been able to she has gotten up off her knees and learned to stand on her own. Where she doesn't even really need me at all. The other thing she probably needs from me would be my time and my space. But other than that, no. That's how good that household is. And I told her that. I said, everybody here starts from here. It starts from here and it spreads out. When this apartment is gone, then you know it's a whole new chapter. And we're probably going to be there forever. So, you know, but that definitely is part of family value. You know what I want to ask, not to get too deep. Do you think church is missing from family values?
I don't think so. I say I don't think so. I'm not saying something. I said I don't think so, because I feel like church ever think about, you know, God and stuff like that. But I feel like church is like about worship and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you should be doing that every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like church could be done at home, in a car, on a train, listen to music. So
Amen.
I don't think it's just about it just being church that you have to be there for it to worship a value out of it. I feel like it could be worship and value anyway, anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think that the presence of God is needed more in a lot of homes? Because you have a lot of people that are going through some bad family values right now.
Yeah.
I mean, some real bad family values. To the point where you got people who are definitely living on the streets. You got people who are definitely found themselves homeless. And they are two different things. Because a person who lives on the street probably chooses to, not because it's homeless. And a person who's homeless has no choice but to live on the street, depending if he can find a bed or not. So there are choices. That's why I use certain words and certain terminologies. But in this case, do you think if people prayed more that a lot of this stuff would go away?
Yes and no. I feel like, yeah, prayer definitely helps, but it's go back motivation. You gotta be willing to get up. You gotta be willing to sit there and find a change. Like, for example, right, for somebody who doesn't have nothing at all, like, at least try to put yourself on at least public assistance or something.
Mm-hmm.
Try to work your way up. Try to get into programs. Because there are programs out there that could assist you. I'm not saying some of them are all free or they're all got to pay. But you could probably find a good program that's willing to help you out some way, somehow. And it's like, there's always motivation out there. There's always a miracle. You just got to be willing to get up and go find it.
I think a lot of people are embarrassed about the fact of using the word welfare.
Yeah.
I find that to be kind of help me out through my time of life. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing. See, that's what I think where I think a lot of family value is missing, because, you know, you can't feed your family. You rather do this than do this. So if you take the risk, and this is me too, being dumb, not just being ignorant of the fact that you feel like you're saying, yo, I got to do what I got to do. You step out on your family values, and you hustle in the street. You do whatever you do. Next thing you know, you're being locked up. Now, you just made your family values worse because your pride and your understanding won't say, you know what, maybe I should go over here and apply for food stamps. But you can't, you know, as I know in my time, don't know about your time. In my time, that was embarrassing. That was something that people try to hide. You know, before we used to get food stamps used to come in money form, in like paper, like white paper, and they have 5s, 10s, 15, 20 stamps. People used to be ashamed to go to the store and spend it. Now nobody give. Excuse me. People are reaching out to get food stamps. But I'm just saying that he made a good point. You know, and people hear the word welfare, and people freeze. They be like, oh my God, there's nothing wrong with it if you use the program right. The program is designed for growth for you and your family. Once you finish with the program, and if you choose to stay, that's on you. Nobody should make nobody feel bad because of the W word. That's a family value moment. I think everybody needs to. And at the same time, you encourage people to, okay, well, you took the step to get on, now take the steps to get off. It can happen. Give a person a chance. You know, some people don't know. Some people are not educated to know that there's something outside of that because they don't know. You know, so go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. I see something on your mind.
Yeah, because, okay, now I got two things. One, it was the homeless part. I was thinking, like, wait, what you said about the programs, I feel like when people just, like, are at that point, they just give up. They don't see, like, no point in, like, oh, I'm homeless, so might as well just not. You know, I feel like it's just encouragement, self-encouragement, and having people around you that you know to encourage you to do that. That's my thoughts on that.
Right.
Now, the welfare part, okay. From someone who, my mom, she has food stamps, EBTs. It's like, I wouldn't say afraid. It's more like judgment from other people.
Right.
Like, if you say, oh yeah, I have this welfare check, this and that. Oh, people might say, you're broke. That breaks it down, the family values and yourself. Because it just shatters your hope for your family.
It does.
And now I'm thinking, like, outside noise also plays a part in family values. Because why are you letting somebody else tells you what's best for your own family?
Right.
So
people are afraid.
Like, yeah, that's what I had in my head.
It's I've watched people beat people down for the choices they make in life. And once or twice in my time, and let's say more than that, I probably have used the strong words to encourage my family values. You know, sometimes you get frustrated and you may say things you don't mean but sometimes you're hurt and you forget your family values, what you were taught, what you were brought to the table, and why you brought them to the table. You get to a certain age and you think you know everything. And in all reality, when it comes to family values, you're always learning because somebody above you is learning too, and somebody behind you is learning too. So you all are learning. It's just who you're going to allow to tell you that I'm learning. And usually the younger generation doesn't get that chance until they're old enough to speak for themselves. And I think that's where a lot of our family values take the turn to, you know.
I feel like a lot of the younger audience, I'm talking like from like 5 to 14, 15-ish, they take advice from the wrong side. I feel like that's
meaning friends or just
like just in general. Because back to, we were talking about friends and who we consider as friends. Back to that day, it's just like, I shouldn't call you my friend if you're not giving me the right advice. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, because see here's how I always look at that type of situation. First of all, the word friend to me is sacred. I'm not going to just call you my friend. That's not something that I'm going to use, and not everybody's going to know the circumstances that I go through. Now, with that said, the friend that I do choose to sit down and I don't think it's such thing as bad advice because it's coming from what he would do. Now, can he tell you something wrong or give you wrong advice? Yes, but not bad advice.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like
Yeah,
wrong advice, not
it can
bad.
be wrong advice. Yeah, there are times a friend can lead you down because they may think one way, and then you both can have that conversation, and you both can agree like, yo, we should do this. Well, then if you do this, do this, do this, do this, and it could be wrong. Now you got to come back to the table. Yeah, that happens. That happens. You know that I think that's the moment when you find out, like I said, the true value within a friend. Because, like I said, that family value within a friend. That's why my first comment was, can friends be family too? If you call yourself or he call you his friend or he or she whoever, you call each other friends, then you should be allowed to make mistakes. I mean, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to talk about it, maybe cool off for a week or two, but it should never be where you don't speak again because you're friends, no matter what it is. I don't care what it is. If that person cheated and did something with the person you love and they had no business to do, I mean, you're going to forgive them because they were there before that person was there. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's my value on it. You know,
It's something we do, like, whenever one of us messes up, the other two, like, sit them down and we talk. It's kind of like a small, like, how would I put it? Like, we bash each other out, but, like, in a way where we're not hurting each other.
But that's okay
Like,
if it works.
Yeah. So that's something, like, we do.
Friends get physical. Friends get physical. You can have let me tell you something. If you get angry enough, y'all start pushing each other. But a true friend, I mean a true, on the family value thing, true friend, is someone that you should be able to speak your mind. Just the other day, y'all know Tony. You know, Tony and I, we've been buds for a long time. He's more than a friend. He's my brother. And then most of y'all don't know my cousin Otis. He's more of a best friend than a cousin. But the other day, like I said, Tony and I, we went through something. There was a big glitch that I don't think nobody really saw happening. And it really didn't make the news. It came on earlier, a big glitch where all the banks and everything went down. I couldn't get no money. I couldn't do anything. And I was frustrated. And you know, I'm talking to him, but he's not listening to me. He's constantly telling me, but there's a glitch, there's a glitch. Now, if you say that shit one more time, that there's a glitch, and I'm telling you that I can't reach this money that I just got put in here, I don't want to hear them shit about no glitch. What is going on right now? I can't reach my money, I can't reach my... But the point is, he let me ramble on. He let me. He said, you know what? When he finished, he called, and I called him back. I called him back about maybe 3 or 4 hours later. He said, I knew you was going to call me back. He's like, if you just listen to me, da-da-da-da. And I had to apologize to him. But his whole thing was apology ain't accepted. But he took it. But I know him. He's like, no, you're going to apologize. But I know what he's saying. You don't have to. But it's warranted because the family values. True family can argue. They can separate. They can divide. And always come back together. Because it's more than glue. It's a bond that doesn't require glue. It's already it's adhesive, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. We don't have to go too long tonight. You know, I just wanted to really sit down and just discuss the wedding. I think that was, I wish we all were here that was the plan for tonight, you know, just to let the world know why we took our hiatus. And I want to thank you guys and congratulate you for everybody, for the city. You guys hit 2,000 views on the crime in the city.
Damn.
Yeah, I hit 2,000 views.
Yeah.
You're currently at 2001.
Ooh.
Yeah, 2001 in crime. So I wanted to make sure that you guys. So now that the wedding is over, we're back on our full-time Sunday dinner.
Yep.
So For those of you, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out the page. Like I said, we're no longer on Facebook, so if you want to join us, you're going to have to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where we at now. But anything anybody want to say in closing? Anybody got anything they want to sponsor or put out there or shout out?
Sponsor Pepsi.
Pepsi?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, but
Pepsi?
you let CC, CC tell you. You hear CC here, you say, nah, yeah, Pepsi is gonna be part of this show.
Hey, yo, Sprite.
We can take the Sprite. It's the same thing. It's Pepsi. They all Pepsi Cola. They all named by the Pepsi brand. So that's all
Pepsi.
cool. Or Sprite Coca Cola. I don't know.
Where I sit now, we stop.
So with that said, I want to give a big shout out to Gorilla 2K, Mr. Relevanship, Marley Burgers, who definitely is in the house, the Future, and definitely Living Room TRT. And to anybody who falls under any of them umbrellas, peace, love, and happiness to you. See you next Sunday. We will be back on Full House. You best believe that. Until then,
See you guys.
make sure you guys have a good night.
Good night.
Man. Have a good night, everybody. Later.
I don't know where the camera is at.
Right there.
Oh.